Today, this is the Game Philosopher, and this is a show where we talk about gaming, philosophy, anime, manga, card. Well, never mind. I never talked about card games. Philosophy, and as you know, movies. And with this, we are talking about The Nun. So, The Nun was a movie that was particularly interesting. You saw a lot of jump scares that were in the trailer. Perhaps too many jump scares. But one thing's for sure. That movie deserves some interesting credit. But not because of the way the hype was talking about. Because it didn't really live up to the hype. But it actually takes a really weird turn because I don't really know if I can give it a bad score for that. Because as a horror movie, it was subpar. As a way of looking at the movie from a philosophical standpoint and looking at the philosophy of religion and the implications, that made the movie much, much better because, well, I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free, so I might fail, but at the same time, I'm just going to keep to concepts and give very minimal spoilers. So, what was the story about? Well, I'm going to tell you just based off of the anything you can see online to describe the movie. There's this demon who infests this one haunted abbey, and this abbey actually exists in reality, by the way. It's just not famous for hauntings with nuns. It's just famous for hauntings with priests and monks. That's kind of creepier. They could have made a movie based off that, but anyway, I digress. The interesting thing is that in the movie, you have this demon, I think it was called Valak, who is actually also based off of a real thing, which was the Lesser Key of Solomon, where he's one of the demons who are mentioned. And Valak, pretty much throughout the movie, he appears as a nun to get people's trust, and at first in the movie, of course, he does kill some people, but it seems like throughout all the movie, he is pretty much using all these illusions to prey on people's weaknesses, whether it's their insecurities, their fears, whatever he could find to screw with people's minds and corrupt them before they die. Now, this actually gave me a very interesting idea with how evil works, because when you think about it, when we are being good people, a lot of times we have the temptation to not do good because we have these insecurities, we have this fear, we might be angry, full of hatred. All these things hold us back. But at the same time, if good is to triumph, as Edmund Burke said, good men do nothing. And that's the reason why the evil triumphs. And pretty much, in the movie, there's a brilliant quote from one of the main characters that there's a time for praying and a time for action, and this is the time for action. And I really find that very interesting because a lot of times you see in the movies stuff like people would be focused on the praying, even the illusions, like these nuns who are pretty much helping, or seemingly helping the nice, probably giving away some bad spoilers. So yeah, these nuns are there to helping. Since I'm already giving the spoiler, they're helping the main character, or one of the main characters, with finding out exactly where this ancient artifact was. And oh crap, that was another big spoiler. Sorry. And anyway, killing off all spoilers. This you see right here that the people are guided, and these souls are living on to try to help stop this demon that was infesting their monastery. And it was a pretty interesting movie from that standpoint because, for one, evil is hidden within the good, or the symbol of good, because, like, the nuns being a symbol of purity, but the evil takes a form of a nun. Boy, could I make this a video about church corruption, could I? But anyway, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to spark a debate on church corruption in the comments, even though that might happen. So, as the movie goes on and on and on, you meet, it's centered around three characters, and you have this French guy, or French-Canadian guy, who thinks about picking up chicks. He doesn't really care about anything. He finds this beautiful woman who's about to become a nun, and she kind of leads him to doing the right thing, but then you have this miracle hunter who's there to stop the evil, and then, they get through all these traps by the demon who's trying to test their faith out and stop them from doing the right thing to put the rest of the evil, to seal away. Well, no, I'm not going to say this spoiler right here, so anyway, so that they could stop the evil, and Abby would be made holy again. And so I would have to say that, all things considered, it was more of a dark religious movie. It wasn't so much a horror movie. And from that, I'd say, as a horror movie, I'd give it, from 1 to 10, 10 being my, no, I'm not going to say, what's a good way to say it? My movie madness seal of approval. That's still from Angry Joe when I said that. So yeah, from a horror movie standpoint, I'd say that was probably same as Rotten Tomatoes. It was not as much. I'm not going to say 4.5 or whatever. I'm going to say it's more like a 4 from a movie standpoint. But from a horror movie standpoint, from a religious movie standpoint, from a dark religious movie standpoint, it gets 9.5 from me, because, like, the message was good. It's actually inspirational, ultimately. I would like to actually do some research on the background of the person who wrote the movie, not the director and not the producer, but the script writers, because I would like to see, like, his religious affiliation and all that stuff, because, like, it's just a fascinating movie with a lot of interesting philosophy, religion type stuff. And one of the interesting things is when it says God ends here. And when you think about that in the context of the movie and all the other messages that you can derive from the movie, it might mean that, sometimes God will not help you overcome evil, because sometimes you have to be on your own so you can become strong enough to fight the evil itself, which would make sense. Now, if you excuse me, this cross is upside down.